Welcome everyone. Now, if you're here, it is likely that you fall into one of two buckets. You're either in what I refer to as survival mode, or you are in coasting mode. But survival mode could look like things like if you feel like a lot of stress, overwhelm, burnout, anxiety, exhaustion. Coasting feels like a disconnect. Like you're not quite living up to what is you feel like you could be. You feel like you could be making a greater impact. And in both cases, like those happen so many times for most people watching who are going to be parents, entrepreneurs, people who are working away in their 9 to 5, and they find themselves getting lost in the day-to-day tasks. On paper, you may look like you have it all together, but you feel that coasting like, man, this just isn't me. It doesn't have the energy I want. Or you're in that burnout, you're in that survival mode, and you have been for a while, just trying to get through the day, just trying to make it to bedtime so that gosh, tomorrow it's just going to happen all over again. And so I want to help you to fix that, especially like this time of year. You have one of the best keys, one of the best secrets that you could do in order to help break free from that survival mode or that coasting mode, right? Get rid of the stress and the overwhelm and unlock the life that you truly want to be living, a way more fulfilled life, And the reason why it's so important is like this time of year, you have Thanksgiving coming up. And that is where people start to review things happening for them. And so we want to use gratitude as that key. Gratitude is the key to unlocking this for you. Now, I used to believe that if I just practiced gratitude, the way that everyone told me, I'd write down okay, I'm grateful for my house and my job and my family. Magically, I'd be less exhausted or less overwhelmed or less burnt out because I'm recognizing what I'm grateful for. But all it did was it actually made me feel guilty because I had all those things. I was supposed to be grateful for those things, but it still felt empty to me. And that made me think something was wrong with me. And you may feel the same thing. It may connect with you where you're like, oh my gosh, I have seen that and feel that way. What we don't understand is this, and I hope that you could grasp onto the concepts because it changes everything. The problem isn't gratitude, right? The problem is the kind of gratitude that you're practicing. When you're stuck in what is often referred to as a passive gratitude, the checklist version, the hey, be thankful for what's around me version, my house, my family, my job, but then you're buried under stress and you're deep in survival mode, and that kind of gratitude doesn't land for you. It doesn't touch the parts of you that feel really burnt out or worn out, disconnected or lost. It just feels like another choice in a never-ending list. It just feels like you're doing another to-do, another action. Meanwhile, for me, when that was happening, I couldn't see my own gifts anymore. You may not see the things that you have. You are the only person with your combination of gifts, superpowers, and experiences, which means you're the only person who can make the impact that you can make in people's lives. We don't realize that, Gosh, the patience that we should be having, to hold our family together, we're not having that. We're not seeing that we're doing that. We're not seeing that we're a problem solver, that is saving projects at work, or the steadiness that has kept people calm. We're not seeing our gifts. Those strengths were there all along. And we just don't see them. I know I didn't see them in myself. And it's because we're only looking outward. We're not looking inward. Everything shifted when I started practicing like I said, rather than a passive gratitude, it's an active gratitude. Gratitude that's tied directly to the gifts and superpowers of who you are. So instead of hey, I'm grateful for my home, it becomes hey, I'm grateful for my home because I create a safe environment, with steadiness and patience for my family to thrive. That's sort of a shift. Oh my gosh, suddenly gratitude isn't homework. It's actually clarity. It's connection. It's remembering yourself again. It pulled me out of survival mode, and I'm hoping that does the same for you. So that's what we're talking about, how gratitude is the key to escaping this. Not the shallow kind, but the kind that reconnects you to your gifts and superpowers, your identity, and the version of you that's been buried under all that stress of survival mode. Now, I want to help you to stop performing and really make a change in your life. Now, if you're new here, I usually say at the top video, totally forgot. Welcome to the Giver Method channel. My name is Jake. So glad you're here to join me. If you're back for another video, welcome back. Now, let's do a quick check-in. I want you to be honest with yourself. Are you exhausted or burnt out or running on empty, but everyone keeps telling you to be grateful, but when they do, it just makes you feel worse. Or maybe you're stuck in that numb autopilot, functioning but not really feeling. You can't remember the version of you that actually, you actually like, right? Because stress has buried the gifts and the things you have. Or gratitude becomes one more thing on that to-do list. I guess I need to write out what I'm grateful for. It's an obligation. Instead of filling you up, it's actually draining you. If any of that hits home, then you're in the right place. Nothing's wrong with you. You're just, like I said, you're practicing a version of gratitude that your nervous system can't access because you're in a depletion. as a burnt out parent with all the responsibilities, an overwhelmed entrepreneur, trying to be thankful for opportunities, but you're exhausted, or maybe as a stressed employee, forcing yourself to be grateful for your job, but like it's draining your identity for months. Like wherever you are, whichever version of that is you or whatever yours looks like, here's the truth. Gratitude, it does work. But only when it reconnects to yourself, not your circumstances, your true self, your authentic self. And that's the shift that we're going to make. Now, everything we're going to cover today, it's grounded in my book. So I'm Jake Talbot. I'm the founder, author of this book. It's called The GIVER Method. Right now, it's available on Amazon. It's on sale. You can get it for between $2 to $10. There's a link in the description. Go get yourself a copy. Go buy a copy for someone else. Everything we're covering today is grounded in the principles in here. And the reason why you should get yourself a copy, or for someone you know, is because everything I wrote in here, the stories, the action items, exercises, the worksheets, everything that's in there are designed for people like you, because I've walked the same path as you. I want to be your guide. It's all designed for the parent, the entrepreneur, and people working away in their corporate CA cubicles, because I've been there. I am all of those things, and I've walked that similar path. I know you can't just burn everything down and start over. I know you can't just move to the woods to go find yourself. So get yourself a copy. You'll be surprised that when you start to discover your gifts and superpowers, and you start to really use them in a way to make greater impact, create value to the people around you, you have better relationships, you live a more fulfilled life, and the universe just opens up opportunities for you when you do that. So like I said, links in the description. Go get yourself a copy, or maybe a copy for someone else. Buy 5 copies. I don't care. It'd be great for you. What I know, like I said, for me is the day when I finally realized like things were different, and my gratitude, that it changed my life when I shifted out of that passive into the active gratitude and tied my gifts. Like gratitude wasn't a task. It was a turning point, and that's what I want for you. And once again, I'm not trying to force positivity. I don't want you to ignore the stress or add any obligations to your plate. It's by using gratitude as a strategic tool, for your self-discovery, for your energy connection, for your your identity connection, right? Especially when life is overwhelming. Everything's designed for people who have, they understand gratitude like in the traditional way, but they've walked away feeling nothing. These are tied directly to your gifts, your strengths, and your identity, the parts of you that actually are going to fuel you. So like I said, if you want, go grab yourself a copy of GIVER Method on Amazon. You can go find us on social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, under the handle of The GIVER Method. You can go to thegivermethod.com. You could check out our survival mode assessment. That's down in the description as well. Get on our newsletter list, things like that. Now, if you are looking for one-on-one help, to help you give from your natural wiring, what's a part of you, and feel that fulfillment again. You're looking for the one-on-one support, though, like someone to guide you along the way. Check out the one-on-one coaching link down below. Maybe it makes sense for us to jump on a call and talk about what that looks like. And if you maybe lead a team or have an event, a podcast, a stage, or whatever, an audience that needs to hear this message around Thanksgiving about gratitude, then man, I'd love to bring it to them. There's a link down below about speaking and podcasting. And of course, hit subscribe, tap that bell for notifications, drop a comment, all the YouTube things, like the video, like anything that resonates with you, just let me know. And with that, let's dive in. Like I said, I like to tee up everything, but now let's dive deep. I've got, I think it's 5 principles that I want to really unpack with you. Things that we'll dive into. I might think of some extra ones in there, but I really want to help you to dive deep into this topic. So the first one is there's this idea of a gift of gratitude, like a journal. Now, bear with me. Don't get lost in the title and be like, oh, well, this is just another writing things out. Trust me, this is how you shift from what I have to who I am. It's that big shift, how you actually do gratitude. Most of us are taught that standard list. Like I said, I'm grateful for my home, my job, my family. And, listen, those things matter. And I'm grateful for those things, and you should be too. But when you're exhausted, you're burnt out, you're trying to hold things together, that version of gratitude just feels flat. It doesn't touch the part of you that's drained. So that's where this gift of gratitude journal, I want you to flip the concept. Instead of only listing what you're grateful for, I want you to connect with who you had to be for that moment to exist. So instead of just like I said, it's not that I'm grateful for my home. It's, I'm grateful for my home because it's where my family feels safe. And I've helped create an environment with steadiness and patience. It's not I'm grateful for my job. It's I'm grateful for my team, that they trust my judgment, because my strategic thinking keeps us moving through challenges. If you see that there's a difference there, the one's all about circumstance, the other's about your gifts, your capabilities, what you're creating. You're not inflating ego, you're just waking up parts of you that have been buried for so long in this survival mode or coasting mode. So here's what I want you to do. Here's the exercise, the action item. For the next 7 days, give just 5 minutes in the evening. That's it. You can use your phone, you can use a notebook, a back of an envelope, whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter how it looks. You're just going to do this. Do the exercise. You're going to write down one thing you're grateful for from that day and a because. So step 1, what am I grateful for? Step 2 is going to be because, and add how it connects to your gifts. Once again, so here's a simple formula. I'm grateful for the circumstance, whatever it is, home, job, family, friends, whatever, because my specific gift I use to create or contribute to it, whatever that may be. Once again, I'm grateful for my kid opening up to me today because my gift of listening created space where they felt safe. I'm grateful for project being finally moved forward because my problem solving gift found the path nobody could. And I'm grateful for my spouse, that they thanked me this week because steadiness kept our home calmer than maybe I could have been. I'm grateful that my team relied on me because my organizational gift brought clarity to a really confusing situation. After you write these things, pause for a few seconds, maybe up to 10 seconds. We're not talking anything crazy, and literally just sit there and feel the connection between the moment and your capability. Once again, you're teaching your brain, man, I've got value here that isn't just what I do or what I have, it's who I am. Now, if you really want to branch out of that, if you want to kind of take it to another level, at the end of the 7 days, if you read back through every entry and look for the patterns, which gifts are showing up for you? Probably notice that there's maybe 3 to 5 of these gifts that keep showing up: patience or creativity, analytical thinking, encouragement, creating order, staying calm, whatever, those kinds of things. Whatever it is, write them down on a separate page. Say, hey, these are the gifts I use the most. Those are your core superpowers, the ones that you've been working in the background for so long, even on the weeks where maybe you feel like you're failing. And then share one of those with someone that you trust. Hey, I've been practicing this little, gratitude a little different. It's less about what I have and more about the gifts I'm using. Here's something I noticed about myself this week. And that moment of honesty does 2 things. 1, it deepens your connection with that person, but also reinforces to you that your gifts are real and needed. Like I said, when you're in survival mode, the generic, let's be grateful advice, it can make you feel worse, not better. It praises your circumstances, not who you are. That's where this gratitude journal, it's going to fix that. It ties to directly to your capabilities. It's not to look at what I have. It's no, look at who I am. 7 days, that's all it takes. If you do 7 days, 7 entries over the next week, that connect your circumstances to your gifts and chances to remember who you are. That's how you move from this homework style gratitude that feels hollow to true energy building. Start showing up differently for Thanksgiving and for the holidays. Be showing up as a different person because you have that gratitude in your heart. That takes us to the second area, the second principle that I want to focus on, and that's the idea that the failure gave me a gift reframe. So this is where we find strengths. We'd be grateful for the strengths that we earned, the gifts, superpowers, the hard way. Now, this is important because you are the only person with your combination of gifts, superpowers, and experiences, even the good ones, the bad ones, the road bumps, the trips, the failures. But there are people that need that combination of your gifts, superpowers, and those experiences because you're the only person who can put things to a context that they'll understand. You're the only person who could be the guide or make the connection that you can. This is something that most people avoid. It's the messy seasons, right? Their failures, their burnout, the heartbreak, whatever. These are the setbacks that you wish you could go back and erase. And if you're tired, overwhelmed, you've been stuck in survival mode, I already know that you know what those moments are. I already know that you know those moments feel heavy. Because you probably look back at them as proof that you either aren't enough right now or that you weren't enough. Or that somehow you've messed up your life or something. But the truth that nobody tells you is some of the greatest strengths, gifts, superpowers are born in the moments that you would never choose. The season where you're barely holding things together, you forge resilience. The financial pressure, you sharpen resourcefulness. A rough relationship chapter, it grew your emotional intelligence. A career setback turns you into a problem solver. Whatever. This idea is about shifting how you see these moments. They're not scars, but the training grounds for your gifts to be formed. Once again, you're not being grateful for the hardship. You're being grateful for what was made possible because of it. So here's what I want you to do. This exercise is going to take 15 minutes. That's it. And it will change the way you see yourself. You're going to grab a journal, your phone, whatever. You're going to pick one hard season, just one of your life, and something that really left a mark. Like I said, think about the burned out period, failed business, a breakup, messy job loss, financial issues, health struggles, stretch where you didn't feel maybe you feel like you've been drowning or whatever. Right at the top of the page, whatever it was. And now you're going to go through 3 gifts, and pull 3 gifts out of it, from that moment. Think of one skill, one character trait, maybe one perspective, and make them very specific, make them real, make them honest. What's the skill you earned? What can you do now that you couldn't before? Maybe, once again, you learn to create boundaries, or lead under pressure, or manage finances, communicate better, problem solve, whatever it is. Put that down. What's the skill? Think about then the second thing, the character strength. What was the character strength? Okay, well, I got tougher, wiser, calmer, softer, more grounded. resilience, courage, empathy, patience, whatever it is, the stuff that you don't learn in your comfort zone typically. And then the third thing is, what's the perspective you gained? Like, what did you understand that you didn't before? Maybe you see what matters more now. Maybe you learn like what you no longer will tolerate. Maybe you realize that you're far more capable than you ever give yourself credit for. And then write it all out. Like I said, we're not talking big. I want you to be as specific as possible. Like, hey, I learned how to stay calm in the chaos. And now that's one of my core gifts. I developed the courage to walk away when something was out of alignment. And if you really want to dive deeper into this, like when you identify these gifts, what they are, then say it out loud. Hey, I'm grateful for, that season of life. I'm grateful for that, a job loss, financial struggle, whatever, because of what it made me capable of. Without it, I wouldn't have the skill of blank, the strength of blank, or the perspective of blank. Most people feel something shift in their chest when they say this. Like, shame, it loosens, like the identity strengthens, and it hits differently when you realize like you didn't just survive, you earned a badge because of that. And if you feel comfortable, share with somebody. Like I said, that vulnerability, like it helps so much when you can connect those gifts to your struggling years, that people can actually, they connect with it better. Survival mode tries to convince you that your struggles disqualify you, but really, like, it's the opposite. It's those moments that reveal your gifts, made you more capable. You stop carrying around the shame, you start carrying it as a strength. Like, so that tough season, just think of it, 3 gifts, 1 moment of acknowledgement, like, of who you became because of it. This is how you stop seeing your past as a proof of failure, but like you start seeing it as proof you're stronger, more capable than you realize, and being able to add that as a part of your gratitudes that you're showing every single day. Now the third one is going to be this 5-minute energy boost. All right, so now we want to give from your gift, not from obligation. We want to prove that giving your gifts, like, it's going to refuel you. It doesn't drain you. When you're already stretched thin, which I get it, you could be stretched really thin. The idea of giving anything to anyone, of showing up in a different way, like it's going to drain you. It's going to put your tank on empty. Like, and that makes total sense, because most of us are giving, like, what you've been doing already. Like, it hasn't been from your gifts, your superpowers, like the things that light you up. It's usually from obligation or pressure or autopilot, or trying to live up to the version that somebody else painted that you think you should be. And so this idea, I want you to shift that sort of a concept. When you get from your natural gifts, those superpowers, not out of a guilt, you actually create more energy. And so that's like this challenge. I want you to challenge yourself as a part of this. It's not a task. This is an experiment. It's 5 minutes that prove to you in real time that, like, you're not drained from giving. Like, you're drained from giving in the ways that aren't aligned to who you are. So here's what I want you to do. It's super simple. It's fast, and it's honestly kind of fun. And you could do it right now. You could do it today. First thing, pick one person. Someone in your world right now, a kid, a spouse, friend, coworker, someone just pops into your mind immediately, whatever. And then the next thing is, after you pick that person, ask one question. What gift do I naturally have that this person needs right now? Not the thing you should do, not the thing that drains you. What just comes naturally? They need encouragement, problem solving, steadiness, humor, ability to create calm, to listen, the knack to simplify the chaos, whatever. Just, that's it. Pick what it is. And then step 3, give it for 5 minutes. Don't overthink it. Don't overplan it. Don't try to perform it. Just do one thing. Send that encouraging text. Walk someone through a small problem. Organize a tiny corner with them. Make someone laugh on purpose. Listen without trying to fix things. Teach something without asking about it. Like, create calmer space. Putting a candle on the counter, like resetting the vibe, whatever. Just take 5 minutes of no pressure, just being you. Like, that's it. And then notice how you feel after. Like, because this is the moment where most people are shocked, is like they expect to feel tired, but like, honestly, you feel lighter, calmer, more alive, like more like yourself. Because that 5 minutes came from your strengths, not from stress. That energy spike shows you like that you're the beginning of something really powerful. There's this loop of like, you give your gifts, you feel energized, then you can feel grateful for those gifts, and you want to use them again. That loop is what breaks people out of survival mode and coasting mode to be in a thriving state. Now, if you really want to take it to the next level, then what you do is like, do this with 3 different people this week. And then write down which gift you used each time you felt that. By the end of the week, you're going to see how, like, the pattern of like your own wiring and your own superpowers at work, which just gives you more permission to go use them with other people. Because once again, like, think about it this way. You're not exhausted because of giving too much. It's because you're doing it in the ways that aren't aligned with who you are. This sort of 5-minute challenge, like, it creates this undeniable proof that when you give with your authentic strengths, it's going to refuel you. And once you do this experience, like, and the energy returns, like, it becomes possible to believe, like, you can't believe the lie that, like, I can't give, I don't have enough to give right now. You're gonna see that giving from obligation is gonna empty you. Giving your gifts, it's the fuel you. So once again, think about it. It's just 3 people, 3 tiny acts, 3 hits of energy that will make you feeling totally different by the end of the week. Like I said, start with the first one today. Go figure out who you're gonna do that with today. Now the fourth one that we want to talk about is this idea of, it's the 10-second gratitude reset. Okay, so this is about stopping a spiral before it takes you down. I wish someone would have taught me this sooner, so buckle up. You don't need some sort of 30-minute like meditation, a completely quiet room, the perfect morning routine to interrupt your stress. Like, you just need one moment, 10 seconds, to flip your brain out of panic and into power. Because here's what happens when you're in that overwhelm. Your nervous system takes over. Your brain is going to scan for the threats. Like, your body tightens, and before you know it, you're already halfway down the spiral into survival mode. And so that moment, you don't need somebody to be like, oh, just calm down. You don't need a think positive. You need something true. You need something that your brain actually believes. And so that's where this like 10-second gratitude reset comes in. And it's simple. You don't tell yourself everything's fine. You remind yourself what you're capable of. We think about what we talked about in that first principle, and that one shift changes things. So here's what you got to do. Number one, you got to catch yourself in the moment when the stress kicks in, and you know what your signs are. You know how it goes. It could be your shoulders go up. It could be your breathing tightens. Like, your brain starts spinning into futural, or you feel that spike of like, oh no, here we go again. Like, whatever's like, that's the cue. You know what they are. I know what they are for me. You probably know what they are for you. And then step 2, pause for 10 seconds. Literally 10 seconds. You got to break the circuit in the moment. Just breathe in, like do one breath in, one breath out. Just take it easy for 10 seconds and complete the second, like this sentence when you're done. Hey, I'm grateful that I'm capable of, and this is where you could pull up those things from principle number 1. Once again, not the situation, the capability, in that situation. Pick one thing that's true for you in the moment. That's why, like, if you do the work ahead of time, you could have these to pull from. I'm grateful that I'm capable of staying calm when things get loud. That I'm capable of breaking big problems in small steps. That I'm capable of listening even when I'm frustrated, to think clearly under pressure, to create order when everything else feels messy, whatever. Like, it has to be specific. It has to be real. Your brain knows when you're lying to it, but like, it knows when you're reminding it of something that it already trusts, that's already in there. And then the next thing is notice the shift in your body. Because most people are going to report like that their shoulders start to drop. They breathe, like their breath starts to level out a little bit. Mind slows down. Panic is losing its grip. Like, once again, it's not magic. It's truthfully, it's your biology. It's just how we're wired. The second you remind your brain that like you have resources, it stops acting like everything's burning down. Like I said, and the bonus, like the take it to the next level, is like you have that reset list on your phone. Like, you list the 5 to 7 things you're capable of, like, and even like what situations. Hey, if my kids are melting down, I'm grateful I can steady the chaos. If work is piling up, I'm grateful I can prioritize what truly matters. Some sort of a conflict rises, like, hey, I'm grateful I can listen without reacting. Whatever they are, like, use it as a quick reference. And so your goal this week, like, try doing this reset. Try doing it 3 times. That's it. 3 10-second resets can pull you out of panic and put you back into control. Because like, stress doesn't just make you tired. It will disconnect you from yourself, and you forget your strengths, you forget your gifts, you forget like everything that you've handled, like the hard times before, like what you're capable of doing. So this reset, it snaps you back to in the moment. 10 seconds, that one sentence, like, let's do a full nervous system reset. Like, again, we're not going to pretend that stress isn't there. It is. It's just remembering that you're still here and you're capable of doing something about it. And that takes us to the fifth principle, which is like, there's this gift receipt tracker. Okay, proof you're showing up even on the days when you feel empty. You're using your gifts way more than you realize. I just want you to start being more intentional with it. When you're exhausted or in survival mode, like, it's almost impossible to see your own value. You feel like you're maybe barely holding things together for yourself, like with nothing left, like you're running on fumes, because but because you feel that way, you just assume that you're not contributing or creating anything impactful, anything meaningful. But here's the truth. Like, even on your hardest days, when you feel disconnected, like, you're still showing your gifts to someone. You're just too overwhelmed to notice it. And so that's where this sort of a gift receipt tracker comes in. Like, it's a practice that helps you, especially do something that survival mode hides. Like, the fact that you're using these gifts dozens of times throughout your day without even realizing it. I'm not talking about the heroic moments, like the tiny, ordinary ones that still count. And once you start seeing them, like, you're going to realize you're not behind, you're not failing, you're already showing up with real value. So here's what I want you to do. The first thing is, like, start a note on your phone today and title it, "This is my gift receipt tracker," and put, like, this is the week of whatever week it is, November 13th. And then you're going to add to this note this week. Quick entries, 2 seconds each time, like just nothing fancy. Every time that you notice yourself using a gift, write it down. And once again, think small, think ordinary, think like I didn't even think twice about it. And so the format is like, what's the time, the gift you used, and what happened. Like, and what it could look like in real life is like you could have on, looking at the day, it'd be like, man, 7:15, patience, stay calm when my kid like couldn't find their shoes. 9:30, problem solving, helped a coworker, with see a solution they missed. 11, I did encouragement. I sent someone a supportive text. 11, or let's say like 1:30, 1:45, strategic thinking, organized messiness. 3:20, humor, broke the tension at the house by making someone laugh. 5 o'clock, listen, I gave my kid full attention. 7 p.m., organizing, I helped someone break down, an overwhelming task. 9 p.m., steadiness, I stayed grounded when others were stressed. Once again, we're not trying to judge these moments. You're just trying to like, and don't decide like if it was big enough. No, just like if a gift showed up, put it down, log it. And then the step 3 is like count your receipts each day. People find like if you go through like 5 to 8 gift receipts per day, even when you're feeling empty, that's like 35 to 55 in a week. Like let that sink in. That's so many times that you're making an impact in someone's life without even thinking about it. And then read them all at the end of the week. Take 2 minutes, scroll through all the entries and let it hit you. Man, I'm showing up even when I don't feel like I am. And then what are the top 3 gifts I'm using? And so then once again, that's where you can identify like, man, my core gifts this week, the ones I use the most were this, this, and this. Yeah, you've got superpowers. Like this list is going to prove them. And like I said, anytime you share these things with someone else, it grounds it even more for you because like your overwhelmed brain tries to convince you that you're not enough. You're not contributing, you're not showing up the way that you want to. And these sort of trackers, when you have it for yourself or share it with someone, it rewrites that. Like, it shows that you're using your gifts constantly. You've just been like too drained to notice. That's how you stop believing that you're running on empty and you start seeing that like you've been showing up with value all along. And then you can start to be more intentional with it and create more energy and fulfillment because you're doing that. And I guess just think about that. I want that to land for you. Like gratitude isn't about noticing what's good around you. It's about noticing like what's good within you. And when you start seeing it clearly, everything just shifts for you. It changes. You stop believing, like you stop giving from the pressure. You start giving from the joy and the fulfillment you get from it. You stop showing up depleted and you show up grounded and present and actually alive again. And so here's the thing. This is your next step. Just pick one thing we talked about. Just one principle. Don't overthink it. Pick one thing and do it today. Don't promise yourself you're going to overhaul your whole life, by Monday. It's like, no, just start with one. And honestly, like you can start right now. Take 60 seconds. Think about the gift you want to use today. Even the moment like where it was messy or imperfect. Patience when everything fell apart, problem solving like no one else could see the path, steadiness with emotions, whatever. Like, and say it out loud. Hey, I'm grateful I have the gift of whatever it is, the capability, because today it helped me, whatever the specific way it showed up. Like, feel how that's different. It's going to hit differently because it connects you with you and how only you can show up and give to people. That's the difference between like the hollow checklist version of gratitude and the kind that actually pulls you out of that fog. And if you want to dive deeper into the concepts we've talked about today, that's where you're going to want to use the link in the description and go get yourself a copy of the GIVER Method, or pause the video, go to Amazon, GIVER Method by Jake Talbert. Like, go check it out. Also down in the description is going to be a link to a thing called the Survival Mode Assessment, where it will tell you if you're surviving, coasting, or thriving and give you real, like, tactical things you could go do about that. Go to thegivermethod.com. There's all sorts of resources there. You can find us on social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, under the handle The Giver Method. Everything like about this, like, it's the framework that helps you rediscover your gifts, live so you can live with the energy like that you want, not from obligation. You can live a way more fulfilled life. And if you're wanting personal support, one-on-one, like someone to walk you through that, someone to be your guide, then I've got a couple of one-on-one coaching spots you could check out. Like, we could walk through that together. Just check out the link below about one-on-one coaching. And then if you run a team, host a podcast, a mastermind, an event, whatever, like a community that needs to hear this message, I'd love to bring it to them. Use the link in the description so you can get there. And then make sure you do the YouTube things, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, and of course, comment whatever clicked for you, because I love to hear them. And before you go, I want you to hear me on this. Once again, you're not as empty as survival mode is making you feel. Like, you've been using your gifts all day long. You just have been too overwhelmed to notice it, because you've shown patience when you needed to. You've solved problems. You brought steadiness to chaos. You've encouraged people. You've carried resilience into the days where things felt like too much. Like, those are real gifts. They're active. They're operating. Active gratitude simply brings them back into your focus, so you can finally see the truth about yourself again. Like, when you tie your gratitude to your gifts, you're not just the circumstances you have. You create fuel, emotional fuel, mental fuel, physical fuel that shifts you out of survival mode because you're reconnected with the most powerful parts of you that you already have without having to burn everything down or go rediscover yourself. That reconnection, like, it's your doorway. It's the shift. It's the key. Like the things we talked about, they're pathways back to yourself. They're ways to move from drowning to, like, man, I remember who I am again. Not someday when things calm down. Not when life gets easier. You can do this right now in the middle of the chaos, in the middle of the stress. Because, like, surviving comes from focusing outward. Thriving comes from reconnecting inward with who you are. So start that today. Notice one gift, appreciate one capability, and one moment of active gratitude tied directly to who you are. That shift that can change your entire day. The key is in your hand. You just have to turn it, and people are waiting for you to do that because you are the only person with your combination of gifts, superpowers, and experiences. You're the only person that can make the impact that you can make, and there are people waiting for it. Promise you, the universe will pay you back with opportunities when you do so. Feel free to check out the other videos on the channel. Hopefully you've been able to take something away from this one, and hopefully we'll catch you in one of our upcoming videos. Have a great rest of your day.